everything, man, he's powerful. You can't tell him nothing. You know, so once you start gaining wisdom and knowledge, just pray to the Lord to help you, to keep you humble, just like how you were when you first started coming in.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful point that you made, because a lot of times with guys with a lot of pride, even though they know a lot, they don't have any people that want to learn under them, because how they flaunt and basically how they display their knowledge with pride. You know, they're not coming from the position of teaching. They're coming from the position of being, like the scripture said, being arrogant. All right, showing their ass like I'm this divine individual, and you'll never get like me, so to speak. Men don't like learning under that type of energy. Men don't like associating under that energy, no matter how knowledgeable and how unique you are with the scriptures, man. Yeah. That's why you have to humble yourself. When Yahawashi was dealing with the disciples, as great as a man he was, he always showed them the ropes. He always came as a brother and approached the situations very reasonably. All right, he broke certain things down unto them as babes. All right, he humbled himself. The scripture said Yahawashi came to minister, not to be ministered unto. So he, as a minister, he actually served. All right, he washed the disciples' feet. All right, he showed Peter how to walk on water. He rebuked them when time was necessary. He encouraged them. All right, he gave them self-confidence, faith. All right, he showed them how to depend on one another throughout courses and tribulations, and how to walk individually. He gave them all these different characteristics, so when he were to die and actually, you know, ascend onto the throne or the right hand side of the Most High, they would be established and they would be great and just as you know, reliable as he was unto the Father. That's why one of the main things Yahawashi told Peter was to feed my sheep, feed my lambs. All right, and Peter submitted unto that energy. All right, because even Peter was humble. Yahawashi, he didn't set up a proud disciple. Peter, he set up a humble disciple. The Most High always dealt with men that were meek. All right, that would take the execution and would deliver it the right way. All right, prime example with Saul. Saul, through his pride, he didn't take the objective and deal with it as such. The scripture said, if I'm not mistaken, it was Nathan. If I'm not mistaken, Nathan the prophet, either Nathan or Samuel. More than likely it was Samuel. But Samuel, the prophet, he told, because it was in Samuel, it speaks about how rebellion is the sin of witchcraft. But Samuel gave Saul specific and strict objectives to execute. All right, and Saul, he came back and he basically broke the guidelines, and he thought that basically what he did was a thing that would be obedient unto the Most High, and a thing that they would actually like. But Samuel rejected him. He said that obedience is better than sacrifice. All right, when he was bringing the cattle, he brought not Haman the Agag. It was his father. It slips my mind right now. Agag the Amalekite. He was the Edomite, and he brought him. All right, so that was a status of pride. That was a position coming from a position of pride, and of course he was, from his lenses, he thought he was doing the right thing, but just listening, all right, doing that which is committed or which is commanded, that's what the Most High wants. When the Most High told Moses to do certain things, Moses did it through his humility. Hell, the Most High told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. He listened and did it, all right, which he didn't, at the end of the day, he didn't sacrifice him. Yahweh actually excused him from his duties. He just wanted to test his faith. All right, so the same thing with us. Whatever the Most High pushes on us, and a lot of times it comes through other men, we have to humble ourselves, all right? Because it's not even a test to the individual that's saying things to you. It's self-integrity, self-humility that the Most High wants us to understand and to examine, looking at the mirror from our own perspective. Because sometimes also you might be around a guy that's wicked, and he may say certain things to you that may piss you off, that may get up under your skin and things of that nature. But how do you deal with those situations? You don't buck back and fight fire with fire. Submit yourself. Humble yourself. All right?
Can I add to your point out? Because even just thinking about, as you're going into it, the sequencing of the steps of humility, the first step is really heavily focused on yourself. it's not focused on, you're not focusing on the movements, thoughts of other people, other men. It's really about the internal fight. You know, and that really is key, because that really should be the first step, which is why it is the first step. You know, because you can't even address an issue really fully if you don't know where you're coming from. If you don't know that if it's certain things affecting you, like you said, your perspective. You know what I'm saying? There's even times, it might be certain times you're like, man, I got demons on me, man. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
that's the examination. Yeah.
Right? You know, so even so, a lot of times, you know, even personally, you know, there's certain situations arise where it's like, well, he did this, he did that. Well, first and foremost, examine yourself first. So you have the you can come into it with a clear picture and a clear idea of where you coming from.
Exactly.
You know, and then by you even entering the conversation or discussion with that mentality, you've already done that step. If you do got something to present, you coming in the right spirit. You know, it's not coming from a place of being on the defense, so you got to attack. It's like, nah, well, yeah, you're right. You know what you said about me. You know, you're right, bro. You know, because you already pretty much examined it, or you open to that person's you know, input about the situation, because you already kind of, you know, played it out. So if you do have something to present, it might be something that another brother could have did a little better, you know, whatever it is. But if you come into it already examining yourself first, your point is, you have a higher probability your point even being heard. Because if you come into a situation and you haven't examined yourself, you're pretty much already in the wrong. And like you said, that correction or rebuke or whatever it is, you know, it might be something constructive. It might not even be somebody getting on you. But if you're not coming to it first by understanding where you coming from, what's going on with you, it's gonna be a blockage there.
Yeah, a lot of times when men, through their pride, they don't want to listen and things of that nature. What's the first reaction? I'm not even gonna say nothing to him, because I know he reacts like a nigga, and I'm not finna get into quarrels and you know, back and forths over petty matters. And a lot of times that mold and that you know, the weeds start to carry weight. Here it is, the man that's actually speaking to you has been trying to chop down certain things, and you basically preserving the demons that's on you. And then you wonder why you end up bugging out, and they suffocating your growth. And you can't, you know, you can't grow from the next stage from one stage onto the next. You gotta think back. Well, damn, you know. And you be like, why didn't the Most High show me? The Most High did show you. He showed you through the next man.
Right.
But you didn't want to listen to the next man. So you're going to learn the hard way.
And if I can say too, and sometimes stuff happen, man. Yeah. You know, you might go out in the world and a situation kind of, you know, happens, and you don't even really realize that somebody put a spirit on you. Yeah. You know, you might interact with a woman or something, or you know, a feminine man, or you know, a homosexual. You know, because we can't help it. You know what I'm saying? If this is our kingdom, we wouldn't have to really do that. You know, be in those situations. But because it's not, you might just sit back and be like, man, what happened today, man? Because, and that might be a good example of the Most High showing you, hey, in this situation, this happened to you, and it affected, it infiltrated your spirit. So when that situation happens again, you better able to conquer that situation.
Yep. Exactly. I appreciate it. Okay. This is Proverbs 27:5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Yeah, and in the brotherhood, a lot of times we're going to rebuke each other. We're going to correct ways. We're going to teach each other. All right, we're going to show each other basically the dynamics of life. That's the purpose of the brotherhood, man. Scriptures speak about two is greater than one. So a lot of times when you're around men, a lot of times correction has to be hashed out properly, you know, and that's mandatory. Because even if the man that doesn't push out the correction to the next man, he sees those demons lingering on him, then that could be blood on his hands. All right, you know, the Most High puts us, each and every one of us, in a specific level of leadership. All right, even the youngest of men. All right, when it's another man that comes into the camp and he has certain ways and he has certain, you know, certain funny things about him, it's not for you to disregard or overlook that man, so to speak. You have to start hacking away them demons off of him, man. Hey, that can go into pride too. Just, you know, waving the hand, like, I ain't dealing with that, man. I'll let somebody else deal with him.
Yeah, come.
Like, nah, man, humble yourself. Scripture says, he that is weak, receive ye not to any evil disputation. Lower yourself. See where that man, how his walk was. Learn him, all right? Learn where he came from, understand certain things, so you can understand why he approaches these situations, all right? So that you'll learn how to even deal with them, all right? So wisdom, that's the purpose of all this wisdom in Proverbs and all these different books filled with wisdom and poetic strategies of dealing with things of that nature. Sirach, Psalms, and all these different books, you know, wisdom of Solomon. It's not to flaunt or just to deal with it on camera or just to say these things outwardly, but to deal with it in the internal factors, to deal with it in your camps and in your regions, from man to man. Whether you living in households with brothers, whether you after camp and things of that nature, that's the time. That's one of the most important times to exercise certain parts of the scriptures. All right, and every man has to value the next man around him. That's another point of humility. You're gonna humble yourself to the next man if you have honor to that man. But if you're looking at him like a nigga, then when the man say something to him, you're gonna act like a nigga coming at you. You're gonna, just like the brother said, you're gonna come on the spirit of the defense. Like, man, this nigga ain't got no right to talk